Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm hoping everything is fine. I normally begin the video by introducing the main topic, but this time the claims that we will listen to and, as a result, try to comprehend, analyze, and, if possible, provide beneficial advice, are assumptions that the majority of them are completely nonsensical. So this is going to be a difficult video to comment on because the nonsense said by the majority of individuals is beyond science fiction. As I said before, I will make every effort to provide satisfactory answers to illogical queries, and you are encouraged to do the same in the comments. I enjoy reading your views and explanations because they help me think about the topic from many perspectives and/or give a much more stated and sensible explanation than I could. That said, before starting the video, I would really appreciate if you would share the video and subscribe to my channel.
We don't have an obesity epidemic. We have an epidemic of various social, cultural, and economic factors that are leading people to develop diseases that we then attribute to their body size.
I have to begin by praising the lady in the video for her ability to manipulate real facts in order to excuse harmful behavior. To refute the OMS's worldwide figures, which say that obesity has tripled since 1975, with 39% of over 18s being overweight and 13% being obese. In 2016, 22.82% of the population was obese, up from 9.3% in 1975, and these are just numbers from Europe. According to the CDC.gov website, 42% of the population in the United States was obese in 2018. Yes, the lady correctly stated that social, cultural, and economic aspects influence people's dietary choices, and she is completely correct. However, the distinction between arguing that there are factors that influence people's eating choices and saying that people get disease as a result of these factors is a bit forced as theory. However, we should continue to listen to his words.
If we addressed these factors, we would improve people's health, full stop.
Food insecurity does not fall under any of the categories previously listed. Unfortunately, food insecurity is a mental and psychological problem, and only the individual who suffers from it will be able to alter his relationship with it. Again, stress is a personal issue. You agree that the stress factor is affected by the environment in which everyone lives. But how would you go about reducing stress levels across the board? It appears to be impossible. The government has an indirect influence on our eating preferences. Unfortunately, the answer is no. Food selections are influenced by consumer preferences. I'll use fast food as an example. Because there are so many fast food restaurants in America, but none in Europe. Because this meal is popular among American consumers. People are also investing in these restaurant chains since they know they will make a profit. You can try changing the main product, but the logic will remain the same. Diet-related food misconceptions. Unfortunately, individuals have not been taught how to have a healthy relationship with food and are unaware of the alternatives. Also, there is a lot of misinformation on the internet about diets and nutrition. I won't go on because I could make an entire video about diets, but I will close with a generic example. Diets of Korean idols. Obsession with weight in the culture. This is accurate, yet the degree of the problem differs by culture. In America, it is acceptable to be curvy, that is, to weigh a few pounds extra, and society does not demand that you weigh 100 pounds to correspond to the canons of beauty. This is true, but not to the extent that it is in South Korea. The fact that people should not grow unduly overweight should not be seen as a societal fixation. Personal health care. I am at a loss for words because, in Europe, health and public health are important, but everyone pays about half of their salary in taxes every month. I'm intrigued, but don't want to look it up on the internet. In America, how does the tax system work? Do you have any? Do you get all the money you're making on a monthly basis? If you'd like, you may leave a comment. Point 7, which is the same as point 1, is a poor relationship with food. It's a personal issue, and there's no way to come up with a rule that will work for everyone. In other words, even if the problems may be categorized, the people who experience them are unique, and as a result, these types of issues have their own distinct nuances. The speech used for systematic discrimination is always the same. This movement feels marginalized since restaurants, public transportation, hairdressers, dentists, and other businesses are unable to establish themselves. To put it another way, they claim that the seats can support 500 pounds and that this type of chair must be offered everywhere because they want to eat and ignore the repercussions. There isn't much to fight about in terms of economic accessibility. When a family is strapped for cash and has a large number of mouths to feed, I understand why quantity is prioritized over quality. However, if a person is in a higher scenario and continues to eat the same foods, this is no longer an excuse.
Where are the other decades of abuse and discrimination for people who smoke or drink or have unprotected sex or don't wear seatbelts or who play high-impact sports that result in brain injuries?
Their constant use of the word discriminating has become grating. All they have are first-world problems, and I would give anything not to experience what discrimination truly means. Thanks to God, alcohol has numerous discriminations, and young people have been informed about the dangers it poses in recent years. Always keep in mind that if you abuse toxic substances, your body can only take so much before it shuts down. If you compare it to food, the limit is considerably higher before your body gives you the ultimatum, and I'd like to be as clear and less misunderstood as possible because both circumstances become addictions if the limitations are exceeded. Also, how can anyone believe that those who have unprotected relationships should be treated differently because of it? Unfortunately, when you have these kinds of connections and you have an illness, I can't imagine anyone blaming you for developing a disease that is often fatal. I don't know about you, but this last example in particular strikes me as demonstrating a lack of respect and a desire to appear superior, competing against those who have endured the most difficulties.
Are the decades of abuse and discrimination for them? If you don't dole out the same abuse and discrimination to all of those people as you do to fat people, it's not about health, you hate fat people.
If we must descend to the level of the most marginalized, we will attempt to analyze the problem from her perspective. Smokers are not allowed to smoke within enclosed areas. Hence cigarettes producers are seriously attempting to sensitize people with very strong images displayed on the packaging because it is a law and they are required to do so. Furthermore, the price of cigarettes is extremely expensive. Everything is fine. However, I'd like to reinforce this concept to address the lady with blue hair's concerns. There are legal restrictions that must not be surpassed when it comes to alcohol, as well as a minimum age to purchase and consume it. It's important to remember that they can check your blood alcohol level even if you're not driving, but cycling or walking, because abusing this poison is hazardous to both the patient and the environment. I don't have anything to add to the list of transmissible diseases. I'm at a loss for words to describe the lack of respect required to carry out a paragon of this type. Even though food abuse is harmful, there are no restrictions on how much one can consume. Unfortunately, all of these people's examples, even if they are reasonable steps to maintain social welfare and security in general, are regarded as discrimination.